Okay, can you even see that I'm wearing a Christmas hat? Hey, whoops, let me do this. Oh, I was hoping here, let me readjust myself. I thought it might be fun that you could see my Christmas tree. Our Christmas tree, it's not just mine. There we go. I know I'm a little bit off center, but check it out. There's the tree. I figured I would do an off center Christmas Eve day pop-up TikTok live. Seriously, this is totally casual today. Not like it's not casual any days, but don't you think that today, okay, Gigi Text 2000, yes, pop up. I'm popping up. Boo! You know why I'm popping up? Here's a funny thing. So you might hear in a few minutes, you might hear some music coming from the other room. So my husband is a musician, and he has a Patreon page, like you pay to be a fan and you get special perks. And he decided to do a kind of a last minute thing for his followers. And I was like, well, hey, if you're showing up online the day before Christmas, or for your people, I can do that for my people. So I decided to hop on. It actually was good. It got me out of bed. Sometimes, does anybody relate to the fact they're like, I don't need to get out of bed, so you don't? The other thing is that it got me showered, which is nice because I don't always do that. This is so funny. It was in my ear and it was kind of bugging me. Anywho, so yeah, so I'm really here today, totally pop up, Christmas tree in the background. And I'm here just to help you with whatever you have to get through today. Today is today. Today and tomorrow are like in no other days of the year. The day before the Christmas Eve day, Christmas Eve, and then Christmas, and then post-Christmas. So if you've ever been overwhelmed and you look at the entire calendar of the year and then talk about chunking it down, we're down to like 2 days here where for many of us, even if you don't celebrate any of the holidays, the vibe, the energy in the world is different today. Like the grocery store closes early today, so we have to make sure we go out and grab our stuff. And so I just thought, I want to help you, you know? Okay, Captured Seconds is saying, so in case we haven't met before, I apologize. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I'm here on TikTok. Follow my page if you're interested. I get an emailing list. I do one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching kind of resumes in the next year, just, in a week, because the week before anything. So I am here to help you with this stuff. So Captured Seconds is saying, I've made such a mess pulling out gifts and wrapping. Yes, you have. Everybody right now who is pulling out gifts and wrapping has a house that is temporarily more cluttered and more messy than it was before. But I say, and I emphasize the temporary part. Okay? So Captured Seconds, I love the fact that you want it to be peaceful and fun for your family. Okay? So a couple of things to think about, and I love it. Jennifer, Merry Christmas Eve to you as well. I will try hard not to get distracted, but I have a twitch of the ADHD here in my family. So what I want to suggest to you is, first of all, you're doing a wonderful thing by realizing that there's a correlation between the clutter and how you feel. And I also love the fact that you are indicating how you want to feel and already identifying. You want it to be fun and peaceful. Okay. How can you make instead of emphasizing the mess that the gifts and wrapping is creating and thinking that it has a direct relation on the peaceful fun, how can you make the pulling out gifts and wrapping fun for you? So you get it done and then you tidy up afterwards. How can you get some help so you're not the only one doing it? I suggest this, to me, you are giving a gift to people. This is the story you tell yourself. I will tell you a suggested story that comes to my mind, but think of the fact that you can tell yourself a story that's going to change how you feel. Change how you feel about your gifts and your clutter. The clutter is because you have an abundance. You are so lucky to have the ability to have gifts for other people. How grateful, seeping in gratitude, especially around this time of year. Every time of year, but especially now when you get lost in the chaos of not enough and lack and all these chaotic things. Can you hear him? Oh, funny. He's singing one of his songs. Anyhow, treat yourself nicely. Treat yourself kindly. And have fun with the wrapping. Every gift you're wrapping, think of how much you love the person you're giving it to. Think of why you bought it from them. Now, this can take a split second, but it can change how you feel about stuff. Okay? So when you feel peaceful, to be like, yep, I'm going at the right pace, this is fine. I'm sure all of us thought that today was going to look and feel a different way than it currently does. We have plans. We think the day is going to go a certain way. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. Recalibrate your expectations. Okay? Yeah, and it really is. You're welcome, Caption Seconds. And I really do this sincerely to help you and to help everybody. Because notice how you even said that perspective. A perspective is I'm looking at something like this, or maybe I'm looking at the same thing but from a different angle. Christmas tree. Or maybe I'm looking over here and I've got my Christmas wreath here. When you look at things from a different perspective, it looks different and it feels different. Ideally, you want to feel different. And I would love just for today, so I decided to pop on, as I said, and do this pop-up TikTok live. I have one scheduled TikTok on the 26th, and then next week I will totally pop up at different times. But I love having the bit of the nebulousness. And somebody commented me on, I think it was nebulous, I don't know, I use words. And just the I don't know, the vagaries of the week between Christmas and New Year's. You want my hat? Here, you got it. I'm sure you can get it on. I'm sure you can get it on eBay. It matches my bathrobe, my house robe. You're welcome, Alexander Nicole, for going live today. Yeah, you know what? As I said, you might hear him in the background. I don't think it's too distracting. I hope I, in turn, am not distracting my husband, who's a musician, who's doing a Patreon live for his folks in the other room. But I thought if he can do that for his people, I can do that for my people. Okay? So you're welcome, and I'm glad that you're popping on. Use this time that I'm here with you. Use it to make yourself feel good. Make yourself feel better than you did when you popped on. So I say that to say, okay, how are you feeling that's not so good right now? And if you are, I don't know, you're feeling tense, relax. Do the opposite. I feel like that could be like a 60s dance. Do the opposite. Do the opposite. If you're hunched over and stressed out, move your body. Roll your shoulders. Everybody, even when I'm doing this, it's kind of like a yawn. Don't you think sometimes when somebody's yawning next to you? Oh, and then you see somebody stretch and you say, oh, you know what? Your body just says, that would feel good. I need more oxygen in my cells. I need to move these muscles. I am amazed. I will tell you this. I don't feel achy breaky a lot, like an actual pain, but I never realized how constricted my physical muscles are until I go and do like a yoga class or a Pilates or even do something like this and I stretch. So you may not even realize that you're holding your stress here or here or here or here or here. Wherever you're holding your stress, let it go. Let it go. Do the opposite. Okay? And I start with that kind of stuff because it is the most basic. You're not a robot. You're a human being who lives on a planet with a lot of shit going on. And our bodies do the best they can to make us feel okay. And sometimes that means crouching in and protecting the vital organs, our heart and head being the most important ones. I mean, I love all my organs. Trust me, you guys, well, stomach, we have a bit of a thing, but I love you. Notice that, okay? You're welcome, Messy One. Merry Christmas to you, too, and you're welcome for all the support, help, and encouragement I gave. And, well, here, you know what? And you're welcome. I'm here to kind of walk you through it. Notice how, like, you just having somebody to remind you of what's important. And I can't speak to the specificity, excuse me, I'm going to spit on myself, the specificity of what is important to you. I can't. You have your life, you have your perspectives. But I think that as humans, and especially this time of year where we get so distracted by the external, like, I got to go shopping, I got to pick with this, I didn't get enough of that, where's the tape, I'm sitting on the, I'm sitting down wrapping stuff and I'm sitting on the scissors again, I didn't get cards out. We can drive ourselves crazy. We can drive ourselves crazy with all the thoughts of what we didn't do. And I say, if you're doing something, if you're thinking something that's making you feel crappy, let's put up the little traffic cop hand, okay? And I swear I get an image of like some sort of thing from a Christmas special with the, there's a Christmas Carol with the guy, and he puts his hand up, stop. I don't know. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. There you go. Heidi D just did some stretching. The more I coach and the more I live on this planet, the more, and it's been late in life, I will tell you this, it's only been in the last 10, 7, 5, 2, 1 year that I really have started to pay attention to how my actual body feels and notice it and pay attention to it and take that into account when things are going on. Like if I'm not feeling well in my body, if I'm feeling stressed out, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling anything, that's my body sending me a message. Your body doesn't have words, so your body has feelings. Your body is trying to tell you something from your feelings. Yes, like drink water, for example. Yes, and Alice Schaefer, happy final week of December and home stretch of Christmas to you too. Yes, okay, Manatee Mermaid, I think you're right. It's the Frosty, where the guy's like with the little boop, stop, okay. Frosty is snowman. Yep, thank you very much for that. See, we all help each other, okay? And when you start with how your body feels, and it doesn't need to be, like I say that as if it's some big thing. Seriously, stretching, breathing, and drinking water. If you, right now, while I'm on here, it's 11:11. It's 11:11. If you just literally took the next minute until, well, it's now just turned to 11:12, at least where I'm on the East Coast. If you just took until it was 11:15 and went and got yourself a glass of water, and you did some roly-poly stretches and whatever was achy, you were stretching it. And you took some deep breaths in, and then you exhaled some bad, in with the good air, out with the bad air. You'd feel better in like a freaking minute. Okay? Oh, so notice that, and you can do something about that. You can make yourself feel better in a minute, and it all starts with making your body feel better. Barbie says, if your body tells you to cry, I say find a place to cry and go cry. That is your body telling you there's something in, and it wants to get it out. It wants to release the tears. The tears are like the external, is the visual thing of you wanting to get something out. Okay? And kind of like throwing up. Throwing up is the same thing. It's like crying is the more gentle version of throwing up, but those are two ways that your body, or pooping basically, I know I'm being gross, but if you think about it, your body wanting to release something, to get something out of you so you feel better. And I know we don't want to. As humans, we are often told to keep our emotions down and our feelings down and do not take them into account. And you're strong if you deny them. But holy moly, that has unintended consequences all over the place. Yeah, Barbie, your body is missing your mom. I can imagine. Do you have a teddy bear? I have a teddy bear. His name is Felix. I didn't name him. He came to me named. I got him in 1986. I could tell the big long story about Filene's and me dropping out of college and being totally aimless, but I have a teddy bear that when I get sad, I hug my teddy bear. We're humans. Wouldn't you feel good if you could get a hug from somebody? Barbie, do you have somebody in your life you could get a hug from? If you can't, you can even just hug yourself, or find a pillow if you don't have a teddy bear. Give yourself that hug feeling. Cry and miss your mom, because the tears don't last forever. The tears will stop, and on the other side of those tears, you will feel release. And I'll say this, I get totally melancholy and sad and, what's the meaning of life and why is everybody dying and soon I'm going to die soon and what the heck is going on? I get that myself. Trust me, I'm not all hip, yippee, skippy. But learning to honor that, even talking about it, gets me feeling a little feels here. Oh, and see, look at this. Frenchie and Auntie says, my Frenchie gives the best hugs. I will get an extra hug from you today. So see, Barbie, there's people out here, and this is, I'm going to get all emotional now, but I will say, one of the unintended things that I never knew what was going to happen when I started doing these TikTok lives, I don't know, last January, February, was the fact that awesome people show up on my TikTok lives, are helping one another. I'm helping Barbie. Heidi is helping you. Frenchie is helping you. Just notice that. There we go. Alexandra says, I have a unicorn teddy named Uni that I hug when I need one. And Barbie, as far as I don't want to bring sadness, you already have the sadness. You're not bringing it anywhere. What you're doing is holding on to it and making yourself feel worse because you're not allowing yourself to just release it and process it. Okay? So I don't, I'm not going to be like, here, cry, now you'll feel better. That's bullshit. Like, that's goofy. But what I want to say is, let the tears flow. Let your love shine like a mountain stream. If it feels comfortable to you. Your body is just giving you a signal. And this is what I do. I mean, I'm doing definitely more life coachy than decluttering today, because decluttering, who's going to be decluttering on the day before Christmas? Today before Christmas is really about how you want to feel right now. How can you feel better about where you are today, both today being the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve, and also where you are in your life. You can beat yourself up about all the stuff you didn't do and you thought you'd be 10 pounds lighter and $1,000 richer and you thought it would be perfect. Or you can say, you know what? I thought that was going to happen. It didn't, and that's okay. There we go. Frenchie and Auntie, I have no idea how I ended up on your FYP, but obviously for a reason, so that you could help Barbie give her a hug when she's feeling sad about her dead mom. I don't know. I think the algorithm is silly. But I also think maybe sometimes the universe, as I like to say, will get involved in why people show up, So this is why I do it. I am Beth, Destination Decluttered, maybe because I said I was a decluttering life coach. I don't know how the algorithm works. I know that I just decide to show up, and I practice showing up in the energy of love and possibility and encouragement and curiosity. And I would love for you to think of those words in your life instead of shame and regret and beating yourself up. There's another side of this whole story that you're living. If you're only living on this one side, there's a whole other side that gets you going where you want to go, Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I've been a great gift. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And you know what? It's the gift. Coaching and what I do, it doesn't take up any room in your house like clutter does, right? There we go. Maui Mare said, I did the vagus nerve cold water face splash. Whoosh. Yep. You even see that in movies. After somebody cries, they blot off their face. They feel better. You're going to feel better on the other side of it. But you can only drive on that road trip It's so funny. I'm getting distracted by my husband singing Run, Run, Rudolph on the other side of the basically of this wall. Only you can drive at the pace that feels comfortable to you. I will never encourage you to drive faster than you want or to even get started if you don't feel like it, but I want to give you just an encouragement that when you start moving forward in the direction of your dreams and your decluttering, you're going to feel better, even if you're moving slowly. When you're moving slowly, what you're doing is you're keeping pace with how your nervous system wants to work with stuff, and if you're trying to go too fast, it freaks out. So go at a pace that feels good, but moving in the right direction is I don't say always, but 9 times out of 10 going to be better than staying stuck. But if you don't know where you're going, don't start moving. Stay there and figure out where you want to go and then do baby steps towards it. Okay? And, okay, Julie AG is saying, we call the clutter and hoarding the family curse. Have you met my family? Realistically, it is generational sadness. Yeah, okay. Notice that. And I love that you did. You notice that there's something emotional behind the clutter and hoarding. I know there is. I can tell my own personal story. Never mind my family's story with clutter. I can tell my own story about clutter because I don't want to speak for somebody else, but I come from a family that we came from absolutely nothing. And then when circumstances changed and you have money to buy stuff, or you still have kind of scarcity mentality, that you were brought up with. I was literally Facebook messaging with my aunt, and she was talking about a National Geographic magazine that she read when she was 8 years old, and it inspired her. Check this out. It inspired her that when she was 8 years old, she saw some article about some discoveries of some ruins in Thailand, and at 8 years old, she said, I want to go visit them. And she's visiting them this year. She did that a number of years ago, but she's going back to it. But that that National Geographic magazine, my family didn't have enough money to have a magazine subscription. My grandfather, she said, big surprise, Grandpa brought it, Grandpa got that National Geographic at the dump. But a magazine at the dump inspired my aunt, who then has lived for decades over in Southeast Asia, has gotten degrees. She's so brilliant, she's so awesome, but also comes from a place where we were picking up magazines at the dump. Okay, so just bring hubby on camera, says Maui Mayor. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? Let me see where he is with this song. Here, you know what? Here, this is totally, I know I distracted myself by something really fun. Here, hold on. Here we go. It's a meeting of the worlds. Right. There you go. There you go. See? Here, my people are going to meet your people. And your people are going to meet my people.
Hello, people of
and it's going to be awesome. All right. Here, I can't even get you in the camera. There we go.
Hi.
Hey, there he is. Okay.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Batman smells Robin laid an egg. All right.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back in the kitchen.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy hump day.
All right, there you go. Yeah, Mr. Destination Decluttered, yes. You know what, I normally wouldn't do that, but somebody said it, and I said, why the heck not? So, yeah. Anywho, that's welcome to our world. Yeah, he's a sweetie. He is. So, you know, here's a funny thing, too. Mr. Destination Decluttered. Seriously, I would not have been married to this guy for happily over 20 years, and hopefully for another million ahead of us, if I hadn't figured out what was not working in my previous life and done something about it. And decluttering is the same thing, you know? Oh, thank you. Yeah, and decluttering is the same thing, is realizing what's not working for you and doing something about it. It really is. You know, I was aimless. I didn't know, but I knew that I liked music. I went out and saw a band. I saw a guy. I said hi to him. You know, obviously a lot of dots in between it. But if you don't go for what you want, I met my husband, and this is not, I'm not going to totally go into this, but just really quickly. The reason I have the life I have right now, where I just walked in and showed people on the internet, my husband doing his his Patreon while I'm on TikTok. The reason I do that is because I got out of my comfort zone just a smidge, but I did that strategically, and I didn't even know it was strategic at the time, but what I knew was there was this music event happening in Los Angeles, California in 1998 that I was like, wow, I'd like to go to that. And even though other people in my life were making fun of me, why would you want to go to that? You're such a groupie, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny, because I'm like, even the person I'm thinking about would be like, yeah, that was definitely me. But I found a friend who was like, yeah, let's go. My friend Wendy. We went to this thing. I had never been to California. I had never, we both met each other in the rental car parking lot. Went and that very same day that I said, I'm going to fly across the country to go to see a bunch of bands for a week. Changed my life. And it's because I realized that I was being drawn towards something that I wanted to do. And so when I talk about that to you right now, it's not to just tell you an anecdote from my own personal history, but is to use that as an example of having a destination, feeling like you're pulled towards something. What kind of life do you want? I want a life filled with music of this kind. And this is what I mean by destination decluttered, okay? Is if you don't know where you're going, if you're sitting here and you're like, oh, you know what, this stuff isn't working out, that is valuable information, because as I said earlier, you can do the opposite. If even right now you're like, and the neat thing is you don't have to wait to do it. You could do it. And notice that you don't have to wait to do it. And it's so funny, talk about just the chaos of the day. I've got a comment thread from friends coming over, or friends that are saying, we got to get a bonfire together. And I'm like, yes, we do. So this and that creation. I am on a break, but I like doing this so I pop up if I feel like it. Notice the difference between having to do something, and you know me, I show up like nobody's business. When I create a schedule for myself, I show up, and especially if other people are involved. I know what it's like to be disappointed and trust somebody, and then they break your trust. You never get that back. So I am so mindful of that in my personal life, in my professional life. But I also like the spontaneity of doing whatever the F I want. And maybe this is the thing, is I showed up today because my husband said he's going to do something for his Patreon people. And I was like, well, I could do stuff around the house, but here's the great thing about being decluttered. I got really nothing to do today before Christmas. Now we are dinks, dual income, no kids, of an age that we don't have a lot going on, and we're sticking at home. We're not traveling, so our holiday may look different, but we're in a good shape, and I love it that. I love it. Like Robin just said, and you could go into another room with your camera and not worry about clutter being seen. No, there's, I've got literally, I'm in the kitchen. There's dishes on the counter, dishes in the sink. I've got like something that I'm trying to balance out on the thing here, a loaf of bread. My husband's studio is a bit more cluttered than I like, but he even said, like, this is my domain, so I back off, right? Grace is saying, on the topic of Christmas gifts, how to not feel bad decluttering gifts. Realize that the gift itself isn't the item. The item is an excuse to give something to somebody that basically the item is the excuse to tell somebody you were thinking of them and that you love them. So the gift is really that kind of, I don't want to say spiritual connection, because I'm from New England, so I'm like, yeah, don't get too like earthy crunchy or whatever. But that connection to say, I was thinking of you. I'm giving you this gift because I was thinking of you. And then they say, thank you. That's so nice of you thinking of me. And it's kind of like, it's not the thing, it's the feeling. And it can be a struggle to, when you have a story associated with something, notice it. If it wasn't a gift, it was just a thing you bought yourself at Target, you probably wouldn't feel as bad saying, this doesn't work for me. But notice when you introduce a story, we as humans, we tell stories all the time. It's how we communicate. It's how we make sense of a world that sometimes makes no sense. All of a sudden, when it's a gift, it feels different. I can't give it away because it's a gift. Just notice that. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, would the person who gave you the gift want you to feel worse and hang on to it, or better by letting it go? And if you have good people in your family and friends and whoever gave you a gift, they want you to feel good. That's why they gave you the gift. And if you think they're gonna be mad at you for giving away a gift, that's called, as you know, a gift with strings attached. So release the strings. Okay? So just notice that. It's all about the stories and the feelings, and then deciding to change the stories, to change the feelings, to then release what no longer serves you. What about, seriously, what about the, what do I want to say? What about the story of you can never get divorced? That's a story. If that was true and I believed it, I would not be talking to you right now. I don't even want to imagine what my life would be had I not had that ability. So notice the, I should have turned off my notifications when I started this, but it's wonderful to be reminded of how many friends I have, because they're popping up. But just notice the stories you choose to believe, and ask yourself, is this just one side of the story? What's the other side? What's the opposite of this story? Okay? I love it. This and That Creation says, I got so much done in my living room and I'm moving from room to room. Wonderful. And yeah, if I haven't mentioned this before, again, it's kind of bottom of the hour. I feel like I'm back on college radio in the 80s. But I'm Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. If you hear any kind of caterwauling in the other room, that's my husband. He's doing a Patreon for his folks. But going from room to room while I'm doing this TikTok Live, I will be on this TikTok Live, just so you know, even though it wasn't scheduled. It's a pop-up. But I still like to commit to a decent amount of time, especially because I download these from TikTok when they're done and upload the recordings to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So when I'm seriously not on, when I'm traveling, I'm definitely off the grid, or when you are in the mood to declutter and you just want a companion voice in your head and your heart to encourage you, there are recordings of all these TikTok Lives on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay, but the reason I say I'm going to be on for another half hour is because if you are listening to me and you have some surface clutter in your home, why don't you put me in your pocket, carry the sound of my voice around with you. The screen is not going to change. It's going to be me sitting here with this hat. Maybe you see my Christmas tree in the background, our Christmas tree, and do some surface clutter decluttering. Maybe a little rearranging of your Christmas things. Maybe, making your place look better, even in a half an hour. Your place, talk about the future. The future can be a half hour from now, and a half an hour spent doing some surface clutter cleaning is going to make it look better, and when it looks better, you're going to feel better. And that's the road trip called decluttering. Okay? Painting of a Duck says, I got rid of a few things from my closet after your live the other day. I plan on finishing. Love it. Love it. Today, you plan on finishing today. Wonderful. There we go. Maui Mare is asking, okay, let me just see this. I'm backing up here a little bit. Okay. Yep, by watching you here on YouTube. Yeah, any little bit helps. I am here. Like, seriously, I will share this. I do one-on-one coaching with people. So if you want to get to where you want to go to the quickest by having me talk to you, and this is not like an infomercial, just a statement of fact, is me being in your life one-on-one can just help you get from where you are to where you want to be much quicker. But if you can't afford or you don't want to do, one-on-one coaching, that's totally, again, up to you. That's why I like to provide these resources, because I know not everybody is able to do one-on-one decluttering, so you can do it yourself with these things. So I'm so glad to hear that this and that creation that you said by watching me here when I do a TikTok live and when you watch the recordings, that it's helping you. That's really good for me to know, because then I keep on doing it. So thank you. Alexandra Nicole is saying, I'm cleaning out, organizing my car right now for a road trip today, and your timing was perfect. Alexandra Nicole, I love that, because you know what? When I was walking around today, my teacup, so I made this. I didn't make it. You send an electronic file into the interwebs and a mug arrives in your doorstep. But I'm going to make. Notice the difference. I want to, and then I'm going to. And then you'll see the evidence when I've done it, because I've gotten really good at taking action on my ideas. I was trying to think of a road trip metaphor to put on my mug, and I was thinking of live your life like I often say, live your life like a road trip, not a commute. Live your life like a road trip. And what does that mean? It means you're in the driver's seat and you're enjoying the you're excited about the destination and you're enjoying the ride. So I love the fact that you are cleaning out and organizing your car right now for your road trip. So when you're doing that, enjoy the ride. When it gets to be they have to pee, you find a place to go pee, you do that. You get up every so often and you stretch. You admire the scenery. You breathe in, then you get back in and you keep on going, and then you take another break, and then you do the same thing and you keep on doing that and you take a break. It's not like, there's no glory in not taking a break. All you do is you run out of gas, you probably wet your pants, you get all cramped up, you don't look, you get tunnel vision, you get hand cramps, and that's on a real life road trip as well as the metaphorical road trip of doing anything. It's going without a break, not chunking it down into little bits. The chunking it down, the making it so little that you can't not do it, because it's so simple. Of course I can pick up a couple of papers. Of course, for the next half hour, I bet I could do that, even in all this chaos, because if you have time to be scrolling on TikTok, you have time to also use that time to also do something else. I know that myself. I have to watch it, because I will put on TikTok to, check to see if anybody's commented, because I like to keep up. And the next thing you know, it echoes back to where my mother would say when I was little, you would be always so late to get ready for school. I'd go upstairs and you're sitting there, daydreaming when you're sitting on the side of your bed. Well, sometimes I'll find myself, even yesterday, putting on my shoes. I had one shoe on and one shoe off. Little diddle dumpling, my son John went to school with nothing on. I don't know. No, I don't think that's it. But, you do have time. If we say, I don't have time to do it, that's your backseat drivers, because even 5 minutes, you don't have a half an hour, 5 minutes. It's 11:34 right now, probably by the time I'm talking, it'll be 11:35. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Say, I'm going to declutter for 5 minutes, and notice that a difference has been made. It is impossible that you can't make a better difference. If you, even putting one thing in the dishwasher, even throwing one thing away, hanging up one piece of clothes, you have changed the whole thing, because now it is one less thing. Okay? So notice that. Okay? And Maui Mare is saying, how do we hold that feeling when we let go of the gift? You know what? You think of that person in their face, that person, and you just feel love in your heart. We could do this right now. We could sit here and do a cool, guided thing. Okay? Think about somebody you love. I got somebody in the other room, but I've got many other people that I love. And then just sit there and feel that love for them in your heart right now. Now, you may not be near that person. They could be miles away. They could be in the other room. They could be snoring next to you. They could be out mowing the lawn. They may be out grocery shopping. you can feel that feeling in your heart. And it's all about that. You don't even need to have the gift to feel the love that somebody sent for you. And just notice that. Okay? Yep, take a picture. And thank you, This and That Creation did say, as Beth is not on, check out my YouTube. There we go. Yep, there's all sorts of ways to go about it. Yeah, so Alexandra Nicole, my phone told me that my screen time today was 11 hours a day. Yeah, notice that. Even a fraction, even if you stayed 10 hours on your screens and spent 1 hour doing something to get your home and life looking and feeling and functioning more like you want, you know? Yeah, and Alexandra Nicole, I say this to you in encouragement. Yes, imagine what you could have done in that time instead of just scrolling. But the good thing is now we're at the point of awareness. You now realize, wow, okay, I could have done something with that time back then, and I didn't. But now I'm aware of how much time I spend on my screens. Now I'm at this, all of a sudden, a fork in the road will open up. You can continue doing the scrolling, and you will end up where you are right now. Or at that point of awareness, you're at a fork in the road. You say, or if I do something different, I will get to a different, better place. You know? Yes, and Breeb81 says, most of the time I will go much longer than 5 minutes. You just have to start. Yes, you realize you can sit in your car and not ignite a spark in your ignition and sit there and sit there and sit there. Oftentimes, the hardest part about anything is just starting. Once you get started, you warm up your engine. You realize it's not that bad. You get motivation. You get in a groove, and there we go. Chelsea W. is asking, I really struggle with finding a place for things. How do I fix that? Really good question, because that is something that jams up a lot of people. Especially, I will say this, if you have ADHD and you think, this is me, you think that out of sight, out of mind. I want to play with that a little bit. I do. But just for starters, what I want you to think of, Chelsea, and maybe you've thought of this before, but maybe you haven't, but the way I coach and the way I do it myself is, where would you go to look for that thing if you had to find it? That's the home for it. Find a home for things that makes sense to you. And being strategic about it. To say, oh, well, if I wanted to find my forks and knives and spoons, they would probably be in this drawer over here. And that's where I find them. That's where I put them away when they're done. It makes sense to me. Then when we first moved into this house, all these drawers were empty. Not arbitrarily, I put some thought into what went certain places, because I've done this for years, more in the visual merchandising and managing of stores and process engineering, and all sorts of things in my life have caused me to get really good at the mechanics of this. That's why I love when we can unlock the kind of life coachy thing that's stopping you, because then when we get started in the process, you realize so much of it is habit and just awareness and too much stuff, decreasing the amount of stuff and then finding a better home for it. Okay? So just notice that, even starting to say, where would I go to look for my scissors? Where would I look for my milk? Would I look for it in the cupboard? Would I look for it in the fridge? Okay? So just notice that. Okay, Karen is saying, I inherited my parents' health with 60 years build up. Yeah, notice the generations prior to us. We think we had problems with stuff. At least we're here on TikTok working it out. They didn't even examine those lives, or they came from a place of probably lack to abundance, and also living in a time where it was not considered appropriate to do any self-reflection. There's all sorts of stuff in our own pasts that we can think of, but you're here right now. And I will say this, Karen, if you are disabled and you have the house and it's got 60 years of buildup, get some help. Get some help. You can hire people. You can have family help. There are so many ways you can get some help. And when I mean that, though, but however, what you need to do for you, not for your parents, you need to say to you, do I want anything in this house? Start with yourself first. Okay? Start with yourself first, and even if you're in your own home. What are the things in my home? Do I want them all? I might have wanted them at a certain point in my life. Do I still want them now, today? And do they also give me that future that I want? Okay? So notice that. Yeah. Don't look at the whole picture. Just see a small place where you can start. Yeah. So notice that. What else do we have here? Okay. Cat Mama is saying, just cleaned out Mom's house. My house is overloaded too. Again, all of us. My mother has an overloaded house. I spent, a couple of years ago, I spent a week, a month for about a year going up to New England and helping my mother kind of decrease the amount of items in her home. But that is only part of the process. The process is decision making about what you want to keep and what you don't, but then it's also habit change. And I love when I get to talk about these things in such mundane, non-emotional terms, because that's what it is. Oh, I have a habit of bringing too much stuff into my house and then being like, I don't know where to put it. So you need to, in order to have your house, you need to decrease the amount of things till it feels better, feels just right, and then check your habits and change your habits so that you get used to cleaning off the table and not piling up not piling up the mail and then doing all sorts of things. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Farm Girl 11, saying I will say this, and so I read the comments back, not to for first of all the people who are walking around decluttering, so they know what I'm referring to. But also when these TikTok lives are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, that the commentary that's running on the screen doesn't happen. So this gives them context as well. People are doing these things. And Farm Girl just said, I think you're one of the smartest people on TikTok. Thank you for everything you teach us. Well, you're welcome. And you're pretty smart too, because you're realizing you've got something going on with your clutter and you want to do something about it, and you're getting help. You're looking for help. Okay? Notice that. Yeah, and This and That Creation says, you're not alone. We are all going through it. We are all going through this. So let's go through it together. Independence and that kind of self-determination and like no man is an island is so true, because everybody, we are pack animals. We can't survive alone. We need parents. We need other people. We do not thrive. We die if we are alone. We need community. And it doesn't have to be best friends. It can be even just, or people in your physical world, though that helps. But just even having online connections to people that people are caring about you. Notice that we as humans, that us good people, we live with our hearts. That we can cry over somebody else's thing, and we want to give somebody a hug when we hear about their story, because we want to connect and we want to make them feel better. A burden shared is a burden lessened, I guess. There we go. Silbebe just said, I put 2 loads of laundry to wash and currently cleaning out the dog's cage. Awesome. So by the time I am done at like noontime here on December 24th, 2023, wow, it's crazy. 23 years into the 2000s. I remember when the 2000s began. It doesn't feel like 23 years ago, huh? I bet this is going to be what it feels like in 23 years when you and I all remember about we spending an hour on Christmas Eve in 2023 trying to figure out our clutter situation. I hope that all of us are here in 23 years on this planet. But what I would like to say too is make the most of the next 23 years. What would that be? 2046, right? Crazy. Make the most of the time you have. This is the perfect time of year to remind yourself of that. The end of one year and the beginning of the other. What did you get done this year? Note that you say, is that important? What do I want to get done next year? And start doing something different. I'm going to be coaching like nobody's business at the beginning of the year. I will do more TikTok lives. I'm opening up my coaching consultation calendar to accept new one-on-one clients. I'm going to clear my calendar for as many new clients as I get, because I know the feeling of cleanliness and possibility and that fresh start in the new year. Also, I will say, anybody here on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, I'm going to do another free workshop, and I'm going to get the Zoom going, and I've got some stickers. There's all sorts of fun stuff for the people on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. I'm going to send out an email about it, but I'm not going to send an email out right before Christmas. You're too busy with stuff anyway. Sometime this week, you will get an email from me, chock full of good stuff that's going to set you up for success for the new year. So if you're interested in that, all of that stuff's free. I charge for so little stuff. I provide so much and ask for so little as far as money goes. The money only really comes right now from my one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in getting on my free mailing list, that's destinationdecluttered.com/join. Sign up, and then you'll just get all the free stuff. Okay. What else do we have here? Yep. What do you do when family gives you things you don't want, but you feel like you can't throw it away? You love the thing. Maybe you put it away for a while, and then when the emotion from the things have cooled off, you maybe discreetly give it away, things like that. You also can change this dynamic. I will say this, on the eve of Christmas, tomorrow you are going to receive tangible items, for gifts from people. Oops. Something, it may be like something you want. Like, I love salt. My sister gave me this. I love salt. But other things may not be, but that's going to go away. When the salt is done, I can throw away the thing. Are you adding to your clutter by asking for material goods, or could you say, hey, this was great, but next year, why don't we get creative? And we can do something that's not going to take up more room. We can go on a trip. We can go for an ice cream. We can do something that does not add to the clutter of my closet, of my kitchen, of my life. Okay? And then you all share a memory, and it's just not adding to the physical stuff that's taking over the life. Okay? Yeah, Cat Mama is saying, staying out of stores now that I'm retired, shopping more, younger, and working, don't need anything. I'm the same way. I used to go to stores a lot. I used to also go thrifting and antiquing a lot. I am happy with the quality and quantity of items that I have in my life. So I don't even feel called to go out to the mall unless I am, I need to buy something like new underwear or socks or mouthwash or something. Okay? So just notice that about yourself. There we go. And notice how I love this about this group so much. No matter who comes in, it's always like this cool vibe of people that are doing their best to help other people they don't even know. So Heidi is saying Nextdoor is a good app or site to find and hire local people to help clean out spaces. Yeah, and there's all sorts of fun stuff going on in the new year as far as Destination Decluttered. And I'm basically going to stick with the basics. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I really like how things are going and how I do things. So why would I break something that's not broken? Or why would I change something that doesn't need fixing? Okay. Megan Tay says, I'm glad you found me as well. I've been so overwhelmed by clutter. I only put a tree up this year. Hey, you put a tree up. That's something. We got a tree up. I didn't put this tree up. I don't like doing the tree. My husband does the tree. That's his deal. What I did, though, and actually this may be a fun thing to show you, because it's right over here if I can get the camera to work well, is I don't like doing the tree, but I have sentimental Christmas ornaments. And so what I did was, one year, a number of years ago, and I know I don't have any original ideas, but I find ones that I think are good. And so I bought this giant, like 4-foot fake, Christmas wreath, and I wired in, where is it? Here we go. You see that? Okay, yeah, if I pull back here. Oh, there we go, that makes sense. So I wired in all of my sentimental ornaments, and occasionally now when we are traveling, we might buy an ornament, but notice that any more ornaments to this would be too much. So I'm cool with the quantity and quality of this, and then we just cover this in a cover, and we hang it up in the basement, and then we bring it up, and we move whatever's hanging here most of the year, and then we put it up for Christmas. So there's different ways you can decorate, There we go. This and That Creation just says, I was going to go get a new TV, but mine works fine. So I just got a Roku to get more channels. Okay? Okay, you know what? So Mimi of 3 kids, I get you. Okay, so Mimi is saying, it's the book of people that visited at his funeral. We don't want it. My kids don't want it. There will be some times where it's going to feel like you're not honoring the person who gave you something, or it reminds you of something, or even yourself, when you take that uncomfortable step to put something that has meaning in the trash. What you have to do to help yourself go through that is realize you don't want it. And if you can do that thing, the temporary discomfort is temporary. The discomfort is temporary. You can say, we loved you. We know you passed. These are all the people. We looked at we flipped through the pages. We remembered all the people that showed up, but we don't want this reminder anymore. So I'm going to, I could be symbolic, and I could be symbolic and bring it to a bonfire, or I can simply put it in the trash, say a little prayer, be honorable about the way you're getting rid of it, but still get rid of it. You're not going to get in trouble. How are you going to get in trouble? But what you've done is you've noticed that there's an activation, and this is me being kind of life coachy, but there's an activation of your nervous system when you're doing something that brings up a fear response, okay? if you don't want it, your kids don't want it, probably nobody else is going to be too. So I did that earlier this year with something of my own. It was it's this little kind of this little stuffed animal I had had literally probably since I was 2 years old. And it was like, little, piggy kitty. I don't know. But I said, okay, it's time for you to go. I loved you, but no, you're too junky to give away. I don't have kids, no grandkids. You don't even work. I love you, but here you're going in the trash. You've lived a good life. You've helped me out. Now I still remember that story, but now at least I don't have to be reminded of what to do with that thing all the time. And every time you look at that book, you might be getting a bad feeling. Life is too short to have any reasons to feel bad feelings. You're going to have them anyway. Why have reminders of the bad stuff? Okay. Oh, there you go. Megan just said, "Oh my God, that's great idea. No flat surfaces, but I have wall space." Yeah. So here's a funny thing too about the wreath like that. I also have a wreath in the other room. Why the heck? Because it's the holidays. Here, let me show you. So I have another wreath in our house that I did not make because I thought I was going to be crafty. And this is actually a good lesson. So I thought I was going to be crafty at a certain time in my life because I saw these wreaths that were made out of old Christmas ornaments. So I started collecting old Christmas ornaments because I'm a thrifter. And it's right here. Let me see. Can you see that? And it's made of all these cool little ornaments and things like that. Now, I thought I'm crafty, I'm creative, I can do that. So I bought all the stuff. And then I realized I don't like to do crafts. I don't. It kind of stresses me out, frankly. And yet I had all this craft stuff piled up in the basement. So I thought I was going to be a crafty person. I thought I was going to make a wreath like this. But what I noticed was when I had the time to do it, I wasn't doing the crafts. I was out doing something else. So I decided to notice that and honor it and say, you know what, I just don't want to do the crafts. It brings up uncomfortable feelings of perfection and overwhelm and indecision and all that, and I don't want to do it. So I was able to then realize something about myself, then give a lot of those ornaments that I had collected back to a thrift store. Maybe somebody else made them. And then I found this wonderful woman online who did these awesome things, and I bought one from her. And then I got to support somebody who actually does enjoy the crafting. So notice there's all sorts of things you can do, but knowing when it feels right to you. My husband does the tree. This is kind of funny. Down here, you can't put lights on an aluminum tree because you might get electrocuted. But so he puts stage lights underneath and like when he uses them for gigs and stuff. So I share those ideas with you to say there's so many ways you can find a way to do stuff that fits for you, but it feels right to you. Okay? There we go. Miracles and Money. Spent the morning reorganizing scarves and reconfiguring t-shirt drawers. Awesome. I hope what you did when you did that too is you recommitted to liking what you have. And if something that you have is not doing it for you, maybe doing a weeding, the occasional weeding. It's just like a garden. Just like a garden, a little bit every time. Even with my Christmas stuff this year, we had a convo about this, about what we've noticed. Habits of we are always putting up this tree. We also have a bigger white tree that you can put lights on that we used to put up, but it requires that we move furniture in order to put it up, and that's just too much for us because we're just not doing that, and we don't have kids and we don't have the big parties and stuff. So this works for us. It's easy. We have to move like one stack of chairs. Finding out what works for you in the season of life you're on, and also the time you have and the energy and the inspiration and the motivation, and match those expectations with what's in here to begin with. We were going to have people over. I'll say this. Talk about having a plan and thinking that the day before Christmas Eve day is going to look and feel a certain way. We were supposed to, as of like 4 days ago, we were going to be having overnight guests, so I wouldn't have been doing this. And they had never been to our house before. One of them hadn't. So I was going to do some extra decoratings with some of my little Christmas tchotchkes that I have. Something happened. They couldn't stay with us. So they're not coming over. So I'm like, okay, well, I like the level of Christmas stuff we have here. Nobody else is going to come around and ooh and ah on my little tchotchkes. So maybe I won't even put them out this year. Now, I still like them, but it's just we're not having anybody over. So I said, I'm good with the amount of decorating I've did. The other thing, too, is tonight we were supposed to go to a party. Well, somebody got sick. The party is canceled. So you can have plans, and they can work, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. The thing is to recalibrate your expectations so you feel good. So I am making the most of the time that we have, instead of lamenting the fact that those people aren't over. Is, tonight we're going to do a Zoom with some people and do a little toast and eat some, I don't know if we're going to get 7 fishes. We'll try to eat, totally inside joke about myself, but there's a song called The 7 Fishes, from the guys from South Fellini. Oh my God. Anyhow, we're going to have some fish. We're going to drink a Negroni. We're going to cheers our friends on Zoom and then chill. That wasn't what we planned on doing as of 4 days ago, but when things don't work out, what's a plan that can make you feel better? Okay. I love it. Interesting how I organized spontaneously as soon as I took a break and saw your live. Notice that. There we go. Miracles and Money says it in very fancy words. The alignment of congruent energy and implementation. Yes, and how I like to say it in my simple words is, when you think better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. And you do better, you take an action. I like to say aligned action, because it's true. It's like it's action, but it's not just puttering around. Even the puttering around can be going towards the greater goal of what your destination is. Foxy is saying, I'm always secretly hoping people cancel plans. I'll be honest with you. My husband, I said it to him last night. He had a gig last night. I love the band he was playing with. I love the people we were going to be with. I knew we were going to see people. So much of that, but I was like, I love all that, but still, I just want to hang out at home and like be under a blanket and watch some like BBC historical thing. Like just the weather this time of year, and also being, even though I show up on TikTok on doing this, being definitely an introvert outside in my real life, that I need my time away from people, and I don't mind having time to myself. It's not lonely when I'm alone. I love having time to myself. I have to watch it that if I'm too alone, that I don't go feral. So I do sometimes have to kind of push myself into social situations to just maintain. Again, we're pack animals. That's why we're all here on TikTok on this thing. And we have a wonderful group of people who show up for these destination TikTok lives. Because it just makes it so much easier when you realize you're not alone. It calms down your nervous system. You can feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. Right? Okay. Lind Kids and Cats. So you're right. My calendar does show no appointments. I don't have a price list. I've got one price, but it's changing in 2 weeks. So the best thing to do is to get on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. Those people, mailing list folks, you know it. You always get the info before anybody else ever does on TikTok. I will always send out like the secret, hey, the calendar's open. Hey, I've got some things that are not even on the calendar, but if you want to do it. So sign up for the mailing list. It's free. It's an email mailing list. You can unsubscribe at any time. I definitely don't overwhelm you with emails. So much so that like I could send an email out today with all this info, but I know you have stuff going on because of the holiday. I'm going to wait until Tuesday or Wednesday when you actually may have a time to see it. Okay? So that's how I roll. That's how I work. I will be putting things on the calendar for January, probably 2nd plus. But this week and this time of year is a little bit different. And I like to be flexible, and this is how I do it. So yeah, I hope that helps. The mailing list to me is always such a nice, easy, low stress way to just take one baby step closer to getting yourself decluttered. Because I do like a free monthly Zoom call with people on the mailing list. It's a group Zoom. I'm going to do a workshop coming up on breeze blocking. If anybody knows, that's what I call kind of blocking in your, getting your schedule done. I do that like once, maybe every quarter, but not even every quarter. That sounds too, I do it when I feel like it. And when I feel like it would be helpful to me to say, okay, it's January. What do I want to get done in the next couple, what do I want my life to look and feel like by this time next year? I figure if I feel like that, other people too. So I offer that kind of stuff. Okay, there you go. Oh, and I'm so sorry that your mom died suddenly and you grab things to stay connected. Of course you do. Of course you do, because we are human, energetic creatures. We are not robots. We're not robots, nor do I want you to be a robot. But what I would love to do in this last minute that I have here, and then I will sign off and wish you a Merry Christmas, or a Happy New Year, or a Kwanzaa, or a Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate anything at all, is you are human on this planet. You have feelings, and don't try to be a robot. Work with your humanity, work with your heart, Work with your nervous system, your wonderful brain that gives you ideas, that goes through your heart. And when your heart says yes, and then your hands say go, and then you create a wonderful life. That to me is the best gift of all. And it's nothing you can buy in the mall, and you don't even need a receipt, and you can have it with you for the rest of your life. That's why I love coaching so much, because what I teach you to do as far as decluttering and the skills that you learn, they last you for the rest of your life, and they're not just about decluttering your home. So with decluttering your life, which means removing the things that don't work and only including the things that do, so that you and your head and your heart and your nervous system, you just feel better, because when you feel better, you do better. Okay, so I am signing off. Foxy, people are doing massive amounts of physical photographs. They're doing all sorts of things. Find out what works for you. I would recommend start off by only keeping the good ones. So if somebody's got their eyes half closed or you don't look good in it, just throw away those ones. Cull through them, start to curate them, and have a smaller quantity, and then you can figure it out. All right? I'm going to sign off December 24th. We're going to go take a walk. We're going to buy some fish. We're going to drink some Negronis, fall asleep. It's going to be great. All right, I will see you on the other side. Tuesday, I know it sounds like Tuesday is only a certain amount of hours away, but it feels like a lifetime because Christmas is in between. Tuesday, the 26th at 11 a.m., I will be officially doing a TikTok live, so you can set your calendar to that one. In the meantime, everybody, you're doing great. You're doing great. Remind yourself how you want to feel, and you can change that in a minute, okay? You can do it, and I'll see you after the holiday, okay? Bye.